Hello everyone, this is Running on Empty Food Review. I did that thing with the hands, as a matter of fact, that's what added to this one. It's a pizza review, and I think this is the second pizza review that I've done in a row. And it's an interesting time, because there's been a bunch of new releases coming out with all these major pizza places, so, I'm just here reviewing them. Now this one I'm actually looking forward to. I'm legitimately looking forward to. Pizza Hut will do this usually every 2 years or so, maybe 3 years, where they will re-release the Cheesy Bites pizza. Now the Cheesy Bites pizza, think of, their stuffed crust pizza, where you have the base of the pizza that's kind of like that. It's not quite hand-tossed, it's a little thinner than the pan pizza. The crust itself, though, has these little bites. You could pull it off and it's filled with cheese. And I just love it. I mean, this is probably my favorite pizza from Pizza Hut. It's always a pleasure when they re-release it. And it's just something that I've been enjoying, I think, since they even first released it. I mean, it's just probably been my favorite item. So every time they re-release this pizza, it's always a joyous occasion and I always look forward to it. And I always review it too, just because I'm interested in seeing really how it's changed over the years. Sometimes they'll tweak the recipe every now and then or whatnot. Anyway, here's the box that it comes in. This is for the new Spider-Man film. That's what this creature on the front is. That's Spider-Man. Yeah, there he is. Spider-Man Homecoming in theaters July 7th. 2017. That's the box. And let's look at the pizza now, right? Here it is. See, there's the pizza. And you can see, here's a good representation of it. See how the crust is a little different? How it has these bites on the crust like this? So it's not your standard stuffed crust, as it has these little bites that are full of cheese and whatnot. And you can pull these bites off and you can just, I think it's just enjoyable, it's inventive, and it's almost a fun way to enjoy a stuffed crust pizza. There's a good close-up of the pizza for you. You can see it right there. I just think it's interesting, it always has been a real favorite pizza of mine, I'll admit. Okay, just trying to find some room for it here. I think this will be good. I'm just going to grab a slice and we'll try it. How's that sound? I think that'll be fine. We'll get this slice here. There you go. Just a Cheesy Bites pizza, it's just a standard pizza with topping of your choice, but the big thing, of course, is the crust here, and you can see the bites like that. So that being said, it's the Cheesy Bites pizza from Pizza Hut going in, and as it goes in, we'll listen to the radio a little bit. How's that sound? Going in.
Frecuencia modulada e internet. Los objetivos y escuelas especiales se conoció en un acto provincial en Mayabeque, efectuado en la Sociedad Cultural José Martí en San José.
Scanning around.
En el evento, la doctora Olga Vicente Pérez señaló el uso de la in the Cuban capital. And everyone, I'm joined by Daniel Montero here in Studio 8. We'll have the news for you this hour here on Radio Havana, Cuba. We'll have our regular Saturday features, our science and technology report, and our every other feature on Saturdays called Music with a Message. On this date in history, in 1931, our president, Raul Castro, was born in Iran, the former province of Oriente, now known as Oilin. During his youth, Raul was a student leader, fought against the Fulgencio Batista dictatorship. He joined other revolutionaries in the
All right, now we'll try the crust. See, this is what an individual cheesy bite looks like right there. You can see there's some of the cheese seeping out of it.
On the Granma in 1956, and fighting in the Sierra Maestra Mountains in the armed struggle against Batista. With the triumph of the Cuban Revolution in 1959,
This broadcast is coming from Cuba, hence the programming.
Armed Forces, was given the rank of General of the Army in 1976. Raul Castro was elected President of the Council of State and Ministers 2008, re-elected as president in 2013. Cuban President Raul Castro, born on this date in 1931, is 86 years old today. Happy birthday, Mr. President, in case he's listening right now. Now it's over to the news desk. Let's find out what's happening in our national and international news.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so I know there's 2 cheesy bites left here, but I tried to, and I think I've got a sufficient taste, really, of what you can expect from this pizza. I will get that taken care of and wash it down with some water. It was a crazy day today, I'll tell you that. I mean, number one, looks like it's gonna thunderstorm any minute, so if the rain comes pouring down, I apologize. And then when I got to Pizza Hut, I wanted to film there in the parking lot, but there were these 2 guys who were fighting in the parking lot, of all things. Admittedly, I didn't feel safe. I think they were, I don't know, fighting over drugs or something, and I just didn't feel safe there, so that's why it's in this setting today, and at least hopefully it's a nice festive outdoor review. The Cheesy Bites pizza. When it comes to the flavor of it, it's basic. It's standard. The Cheesy Bites pizza really is reliant upon its design and the creativity thereof. It's supposed to say, well, it's more inventive, and it's creative, and it's maybe even a little more fun than your standard stuffed crust pizza. And you know, that's really the big appeal to me. Because I think the pizza that they use in a lot of these different stuffed crust inventions, you could say, from Pizza Hut is always the same, you know? It's pretty standard. There's nothing really too special about it. I'm sorry, I have to go for the water again. It's a salty. You know, wherein the pizza, you bite in, you know, it's a little chewy. The dough is a little airy, though, but it's, you know, has a little bit of a thickness to it. It's very salty. You can taste really a lot of the oil from the pepperoni in it, but it's a basic pizza, you know, it's a standard pizza. No real complaints, but nothing to praise about it either. The pizza itself is just standard. You know, it's just greasy, it's oily. The sauce itself is, it's nice. I do like how the sauce has a tiny little bit of a sweetness to it as well. And the pizza itself, though, is unremarkable. You know, it's just pretty standard in how it is. When it comes to the crust, though, and this is what everyone's looking for, well, how does this compare to your standard stuffed crust pizza? Well, and since we'll just take them out. How's that sound? The one thing that I have noticed about the Cheesy Bites is they do have a fair amount of cheese inside. Here's a cross-section of one. Sometimes I think it's an unjust representation, though, because when you see it like this, you know, you see the cheese just seeping out there. You see some of the cheese coming out there, too. But when you actually open it, you know, and you look in, more than anything else, it's actually pretty hollow on the inside. You know, there's some cheese in there, of course, but it's not like you're getting, you know, a thing that's completely full of liquid cheese or anything, as the commercials may portray it. Still, however, I like it. You know, one of the complaints I always sometimes have is in the marketing of these products. Sometimes it'll just be false advertising, in a sense where they'll just try and show you an unjust representation of it just to lure you in, you know, to get it. And that's something I think you should be aware of. So just remember that when it comes down to the crust itself, these aren't going to be completely loaded with cheese. There will be cheese in there, and, you know, you can taste it. I think it's flavorful. You know, it's a little chewy, but it is cheesy, and it has a nice little garlic seasoning on it as well that comes on the pizza by default. So you could change it if you want. You can remove it, but usually if you just get it, it'll have a little garlic seasoning on these Cheesy Bites as well. But just remember, it's not going to be, you know, full of cheese, and keep that in mind. I think it's flavorful, though. I think it is inventive and creative, and it's something that I've always enjoyed for good reason, because I think it is fun, in a sense, to just be able to pull these little bites off the crust like this. And just devour them at your heart's content. I think that is a little bit of a fun way you can kind of add your own, you know, creative control to the pizza, in a sense. You can just, I could eat it whenever I want. I can just pull it off and just have fun with it. So that's one thing I've always liked about this pizza, and that's something that I think they've continued to do right this time around in 2017. So remember, the emphasis is on the crust, and I think they did a fine job on it. Again, it's not an extremely flavorful pizza in terms of the toppings and everything itself. Just be mindful that they did attain their goal in terms of just getting this, cheesy bites crust, and it is flavorful, and I like the little touch of the garlic seasoning on it as well. Now, price-wise, this is $12 for a large, which is pretty standard, considering how things are. So the price is standard for what you're getting. It's a limited-time pizza. Again, it can be enjoyable. The main thing, though, is just the design of the crust that you should pay attention to. So out of 10, what am I going to be rating the Cheesy Bites Pizza 2017 edition? Well, out of 10, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give this an 8.9 out of 10. I think they did a fine job with it. Oh, that's just a dog. They did a fine job with it, and, just remember the emphasis is on the crust. Won't be teeming with cheese, but it still is flavorful. With that, I think that dog is telling me to stop the review, so that's what I'm going to do. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, the Report of the Week, and today's review is for the Cheesy Bites Pizza from Pizza Hut. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and take care.